Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies, how the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. AYRO designs and produces low-speed electric vehicles and other solutions that leave minimal impact on carbon emissions. And with me is Manzanti, the Senior Vice President of Business Development. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Jane.
So let's just start a little bit. Give me an overview of the company. AYRO, what are they doing, and what business are you in?
Yeah, so we build low-speed electric vehicles. We're in the utility segment right now and expanding into 2 other segments as we speak. It's a fairly wide lane. There's not a lot of offering in the space that we're in, so we fit between some full-size vehicles and kind of modified utility golf carts. But we build to a different spec. We build to almost a luxury premium aspect in how we put the vehicles together. And what I would say is, when you build an automotive spec, you probably can relate that more to your own personal vehicle. You have certain expectations for quality and dependability. That's the lane that we're in.
Okay, so I was going to ask about the low-speed vehicles. So what does that mean exactly?
That's a vehicle that is governed at 25 miles an hour or under. They only operate on streets that are posted 35 miles per hour and under. So they're used in a variety of ways. In fact, it's easier to figure out where they're not appropriate, particularly in the kind of vehicles that we're building. Okay.
What makes that market appealing?
Well, for us, first of all, I guess selfishly, the economy of it. Right now, it's a little over a $10 billion a year industry. In the next 4 years, it's going to grow another 5. So if you have this park of $15 billion and it's growing at a compound average growth rate of over 7%, it makes it very appealing financially. The other thing is it's a space right now that's only been occupied by modified golf carts, basically. And that's not what we're doing. We're building a real vehicle to real automotive specs.
Okay. It would be on the roads and everything?
It will be on the roads.
Yeah.
And I think there's this huge momentum right now. Organizations all over the world are trying to electrify mobility solutions. And we're a big part of that. And we hope with those numbers, too, we're going to be a big growth factor of that as well.
So people just drive the golf carts around, on the streets.
Yeah.
So what's next for AYRO?
Well, we're going to continue to get these great products out and delivered. We have some early adopters that have already raised their hands, and those first units that we have coming out in August, those will go to them for validation and so forth, and they can start building their empire on the Vanish and the utility. We also have some exciting things going on with direct-to-consumer piece. We have a property down in Sarasota, Florida that will be opening. It'll be a showcase design center, so it'll be a direct-to-consumer opportunity. People can either go there and shop and style their Vanish or Valor or Valet however they want, and or order online, which we've also done.
Well, Sarasota is where I saw those golf carts, so
oh my
we have a market there.
It's a beautiful area.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Been a pleasure.
Yep. Acurx Pharmaceuticals is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company focused on developing new antibiotics for difficult to treat infections. And with me is the CEO, David Luci. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you here. And I know you've got this new clinical trial coming up where you're looking to enroll 36 patients required for the independent data that you need. So when do you expect that to happen and then to make a further decision on what's next?
Sure. So the phase 2 B clinical trial is ongoing now. We expect to finish enrollment by the end of this year. It's one of 3 what we would call significant value inflection points the company has for the second half.
Okay, but that would impact the stock price of the company.
Absolutely.
So, in the second half of this year.
Yes.
Now, we were talking a little bit about the Pasteur Act.
Yes.
Tell me what that is and how that might impact your business.
So the Pasteur Act is in Congress. It's got bipartisan support. And what it does is it incentivizes the development by incubator companies like ours to develop antibiotics to treat life-threatening infections, which is what we do. And the Pasteur Act will grant a minimum of $375 million from Health and Human Services to each sponsor of a new class of antibiotics that treat serious or life-threatening infections. And that's $37.5 million per year minimum. So it would be absolutely tremendous for our stakeholders as a $30 million public company currently, but it would also be great for public health because it is the #1 thing that Congress can do to combat antimicrobial resistance, which is described as an urgent need by the CDC and the WHO. And it will save over $2 billion over 10 years, surveys show, for the healthcare system right here in the U.S. And it's also good for patients because by stockpiling our antibiotics, say for example, patients will that have Medicare, Medicaid, and are members of the VA, they will get the drug for free. And they will get drugs that are new classes, so they won't be taking drugs that a lot of times aren't going to work because they're very old, and bacteria morphs its properties and finds a way around being killed by these older antibiotics.
Yeah. Now, if the company isn't sold within 5 years, what do you expect to happen to Acurx at that point?
So within 5 years, I would see our lead antibiotic candidate on the market selling something in the hundreds of millions. And I would see our second drug in phase 2 to treat acute bacterial skin infections caused by MRSA, which is methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. And it's very common, and it's an even bigger market than the billion-dollar market within which C. diff, our lead antibiotic candidate, targets.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, David, for updating us on that. And please come back when you get these results, and we'll talk about that.
My pleasure. I'll see you on Christmas.
We'll break some news. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis can be difficult to treat and debilitating for an animal's health and well-being. Take control of lameness issues and joint pain. Introducing Spring with OsteoCushion technology. With just 1 injection, Spring with OsteoCushion technology targets the root cause of lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis, helping animals do what they do best.
After years of development and market launch setbacks due mainly to COVID, Society Pass has finally launched the paradigm-shifting SOPA loyalty program app. And there are influencers and investors and media in Singapore right now for this big event. And with me, I've got Dennis Nguyen, the CEO of SOPA, and then also Linda Cutler, a director, John McKie, also a director, and Peter Vichiara, a counsel for the company, to talk about this big day. So, Linda, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about the app for people that are familiar with it.
I'll give you my point of view, and I'm an old financial hand, if you will, who started his career at Merrill, went through the dot-com boom of the early millennium, and I'm now proud to be part of what is, if you like, Internet 3.0, which is beginning to work. The app goes across several of Society Pass's different verticals, by which I mean it has a fintech vertical, it has a retail goods vertical, it has a travel vertical, it has a social media marketing vertical, and a couple of others. And if you were part of this app, you get to, when you participate in any of the different verticals, you get loyalty points which can be used across all of them. So it's rather than just being a one-shop loyalty program. It's a ecosystem loyalty program. Dennis, am I capturing it in layman's terms well enough for you?
Absolutely. Isn't he great? There it is.
And it hasn't really been done anywhere before.
Well, it makes a lot of sense as this is the next step, as like we talked about, the young population of Southeast Asia, and people are mobile and they're shopping more. I mean, all the trends show this. So it does make sense that you would be, have an app at some point. So any final thoughts from anybody about this launch and maybe where we go from here for Society Pass?
Well, there's an awful lot of people about 100 yards away over there looking. The influencers look absolutely fantastic, both the boys and the girls, if I'm allowed to use that gender-specific terminology. There seems to be an enormous amount of excitement in the room about something new. Most apps are just one product. Most loyalty points are on credit cards. This, if you like, covers the whole gamut. I think there's been a lot of, I referred to Internet 3.0. An awful lot of startup internet companies, certainly in the Asian region, are reaching the point where they've pretty much maxed out on their growth. What Society Pass is doing is bringing, if you will, a little bit more US financial savvy and energy into re-energizing what is a much faster growing market across a whole series of different areas in which internet, social media, and marketing meet in the middle. And I guess the app is really, if you like, a kind of a financial social marketing tool.
That's right. In fact, you could download it right now off the Apple Store or Google Play, as the case may be, Jane, depending on whatever you use, Apple or Android. So it's very exciting times for Society Pass.
Is it available in the U.S.?
It is available.
Okay.
It's available to download. You can't use it in the U.S.
Okay.
But I actually would welcome you to come out to Asia. I'll buy you a bowl of chicken rice, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, that sounds delicious. Well, as you mentioned, paradigm shifting, because this is really doing something no app has done. I mean, in terms of the reward points and bringing that all together with the e-commerce that you have. So, well, congratulations. And on this, I know it's been a lot of work and great to meet you all. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jane.
I love the fact you're so bright and cheerful so early in the morning.
Oh, I'm halfway through my day.
Well done, you.
Red Bull. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
On this week's episode of The Green Revolution, we will meet the founder of Mulch Manufacturing, John Spencer. Plus, Callahan, Florida's manager, Wayne Jones.
We were the first mulch company that really figured out you could take a wood product that is not pretty in itself. So we figured, well, if we color it, make it a pretty color, not only can you have a pretty color, but you can have any color you want. Anybody want green mulch? We tried to source the color because that was the most costly part of the process. Iron oxide is the basic ingredient in the colorant. The place that manufactures colorant, most of it is in China. So after a year of purchasing from them and developing a rapport with them, we decided at their invitation to come over and look at the process. And so Ralph and I went over and saw the process that they used to make iron oxide, and that would eventually become the dye that goes on to the product. It was a very interesting trip. They were very hospitable people. They treated us very well, like like kings, and it was a very interesting trip. Well, that was it, our exercise to find a way to get the colorant on there. We looked at spraying it on the top of a conveyor as the product would go by, different kind of stirring exercises, and we found that we used a tumbling, a rotating drum, much like a screen, a rotating screen, but with no holes in it. In the middle of that drum would be spray bars, and you introduce the product in the front end of the drum and tumble it as the spray bars sprayed it when it was airborne in the tumbler, and comes out the other end all colored. Really, the very first one, after using some laboratory equipment to figure out that would work, we built a great big screen that was 40 foot long. Our complete project was that the first 1/4 of that tumbler would be a screen with holes in the, so it would screen out the fines, and then we would collect the fines underneath the first part of the screen to take the fines away. And then the second third of would be a spray bar, which would spray the colorant on. And then the third portion of the tube would be to homogenize it and get everything rubbing together and get all the white spots out of it, and just tumbling it, rubbing the pieces together, and then it would come out fully colored and free of any fines. We operated that for 15 years, that machine that way, but it was not repeatable. It was a big job to make. It was it wasn't portable, and so forth. And we eventually started using our own equipment that we was manufacturing, and we took the big tube down.
I'm Wayne Jones, been with Mulch Manufacturing since April of 1989. With one brief interruption, had some medical issues and had to have surgery, retired. And after 4 months, I was recovered in such a sufficient manner. Tim Burns, which is another stalwart in the company, I talked to him off and on, and he said that Tony had asked if I thought I'd entertain coming back. Decided, yeah, I thought that I would like to do that. Since I've been back, I think it's one of the best decisions that I've made, the whole time that I've been at Mulch Manufacturing. It has been fun. If work can be fun, it's fun. Increased my energy, my enthusiasm. It's an entirely different atmosphere now than what it has been in the past. Very enthusiastic. Everybody's got an ego, right? I mean, everybody's got an ego. So whenever a vision's laid out and a purpose is laid out, then your ego starts to play in part of that and a driving force to say, we need to do this. This is a vision. This is for Mulch Manufacturing. This is for Sustainable Green Team. This is for Wayne Jones. When it comes down to it, if people can catch the vision of Tony Rayner, Mulch Manufacturing, Sustainable Green Team, lay hold onto it and not let go through the bumpy rides and through the good rides, the mountains and through the valleys. If you can think it, then it can become so. To entertain the thought that growing the business, because it's a benefit to everybody that's out here that is doing the job that needs to be done to make Mulch Manufacturing Sustainable Green Team the corporation that it needs to become, because it has a value now in the workplace, in the state of Florida, in Ohio, in our market areas. People catch that vision. The people perish for the lack of vision. Companies perish because of the lack of vision. But it's one thing to have a vision, but it's another thing to share that vision with the people, because it's a people business, and to share that vision with the people and to get them on board and get a driving force of their own desire. There's no saying you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But an employee who has an investment in the company is immeasurable. Really, really immeasurable. That's the exciting thing to me. And I am very pleased and thank you, number one, for the opportunity to come back. And it's been a blessing to me and my family. And I believe that it's been a blessing to Mulch Manufacturing. I have no concept of when I will ever call it quits, because it's fun.
Tune in next time on this TV reality series.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Welcome everyone to your Secure Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry along with Hélène Guillaille, the CEO of Secure. All right, it's the weekly hack, and today we're talking about summer travel. A lot of us hopefully are going on a holiday and enjoying some time off, but there are some dangers when checking in or the check-in process. I don't know about you, Hélène, but for me, they always ask me for my passport information through some of those open source messaging platforms we won't mention. And from what I've learned from you is to never send it through that way. So talk a little bit about some of the dangers and how we can protect our crucial data like our passport information.
Yes, and then we should call the summer edition because during July and August, there's always a lot of summer-related things like travel. So if you're a traveler and you go to a hotel, most likely if you do an Airbnb type of rental, they will ask for the social security number or ID, copy of an ID, that's standard, passport, etc. Now, when you send that typically through text or any of the very popular messaging application, those are essentially data mined. We've seen and read enough articles about that because what happens is you need to give your phone number away to download and use those services. So I would recommend not to do that, to only use a highly encrypted and secure messaging system. If you have to send on a messenger, if not, it's much better to use an email if you can. There's one layer less of danger, and use a highly private and encrypted method of communication. And always call them, verify, did you ask me for my passport number? Because the hackers know, and they will basically, the phishing, and there's a version with text now that's like phishing, I forgot what they call it, but people are going to trap you because they know that you're going to the Airbnb because they're monitoring your internet traffic. And it's pretty tricky. You may just send your passport, your credit card number, your ID to somebody that's not even the person you're renting from.
Exactly. And one great feature of your product with the Secure Send is myself, can send it to the Airbnb host or the hotel host, and they don't have to be a subscriber of your service. They can still receive our valuable information, receive it through the emails. And so that's really great service that you offer.
Yes, that's the Secure Send feature of our Secure Mail. The concept is you're sending an email to somebody that doesn't have Secure. They get an email with a link to click. You can password protect, read limit, time expire that email if you wish to, or just do nothing. The recipient clicks, they're able to see your info. You can attach a lot of attachments without clogging the recipient's email, which is nice. And they can use secure reply. And the entire communication never leaves our highly encrypted and secure servers in Switzerland, as opposed to sending the communication via standard open source methodologies, and that's how they get intercepted. So it's kind of like you're in that, Fort Knox version of Switzerland for the data. You're there, you're sending a signal, somebody connects through a highly encrypted tunnel to the same server, and you're both communicating in Switzerland in our server. And that's a great way to guarantee privacy and to definitely dramatically reduce any kind of harm that could come and highly secure your communication. We have the same thing for the messenger as well.
And last point for our summer edition, when it comes to tapping into public Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi at some of the Airbnb hosts or hotels, you advise not to do that because we can't really trust other people's internet.
No, and sometimes we can't even trust our own because we typically are not engineers, and we get, the ISP that came to set up, and you have a password. And so, yes, if you go to somebody else's home, Airbnb, hotel, public, etc., I would still use an encrypted methodology. A VPN is an amazing way to do that. Secure obviously has a VPN. And we also don't data mine you. We don't use multiple locations. We have our own infrastructure that sets us apart from the competition. And it's only hosted in Switzerland. So you will always appear as if you're in Switzerland. And with the encryption that we have, it will mask and protect your digital identity. I recommend to use that anywhere, really, because that gives you an extra layer of encryption that typically you wouldn't have.
Perfect. Well, privacy has arrived with Secure. It's great speaking with you, and I wish you a wonderful summer. Any holiday travel plans for you?
Well, here and there, going to, just typical summer things, and also a lot of work. But, summer is a great time to enjoy for everyone. Hopefully we'll see each other every week, and we'll come up with these topics for vacationers and travelers, because I think these little tips could help a lot of our viewers.
Absolutely. I'm sure they do. It's about what our privacy is worth to us, and it matters. So thank you so much for joining us again on the Weekly Hack. Nice to see you again, Alain.
Thanks, Anna, and thanks everyone for watching.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.